Welcome everyone. I'm back after a week of hiatus. I'm back. A little different. As you can see, I'm wearing a football jersey. Not because I'm a big football fan, and also you could probably see my face clear. There's me arranging the hairs in my eyebrows because I have bushy eyebrows. That's important to know, right? Well, welcome again to the Husky by Boo podcast, the three of you that listen or watch or whatever. I'm back. As I said, I took a hiatus last week. One, because I was tired as hell. As you probably know, I'm recording two podcasts now. I'm doing the Smart Nerd podcast, which is mostly wrestling related, and my personal podcast, which is the one you are listening or looking at right now via YouTube. Got myself a new camera, as you can probably tell. Looks a little bit more, a lot lively. The image is of better quality, and well, you can see me in more detail, I guess, now. So yeah, that was one of the reasons. The other reason is that, I'm questioning myself. This podcast is, although this would be the 29th episode now, 29th podcast that I record solo, I've questioned myself of what this thing is about. Now, to be clear, I want to keep doing these things. I want to keep doing podcasts. There's something inside of me that is pushing me to do these. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it is, but I feel the desire to do these things, and not because I have something very important to say or to showcase myself as a very important person. Believe me, my self-value, my self-esteem is not of the highest, if you will. But for some reason, I feel compelled to do these things. Not that I have a desire to be known, not that I have a desire to be famous and whatnot, not that I want to become the next Joe Rogan, although that would be nice. I mean, getting at least a quarter of that fame, that's good. But in terms of, having this thing to be self-produced, that it maintains himself and whatnot, because up till now, everything has been coming out of me. Little inside baseball there, who gives a shit? The thing is that if you've been listening and been following this podcast so far, you've probably gotten bits and pieces of my life so far. That, something happened a few years ago and made my spiritual life go to disarray. And now I have doubts about everything. I have doubts about mainly my faith, because I started out as a good Christian boy, and then that went somewhere on the wayside, and now I've become this hybrid, confused individual that, although still goes to church and still believes in God, but there's still things going on in my head that I have not yet made peace with. But the reason I decided to do this and be as honest as possible is because of that. See, I've been trying to be something, like trying to be entertaining, trying to be funny. And although in occasions I can be that, certain people that I know, I know people, right? That's amazing. Some people that have had the pleasure or the displeasure, pick your poison, of knowing me, say that, my sarcasm, aims sometimes towards the funny parts, and sometimes it doesn't. So it's a cross between, you finding me funny because we share a dark sense of humor, or like the power of Christ compels you, get out of my way, Satan. It's a cross between those two, and it's something that I'm already used to it. I mean, it's been 42 years on the earth. If I haven't gotten used to that type of treatment, I don't know what to tell you. But the thing is that now, specifically this year, has taught me a lot of lessons. See, I don't know if you've been around this year, but this year hasn't been nice. You know, it's been a tough year. It's 2020 after all. There's been more bad than good in the general area in terms of people going through shit, and I'm one of them. But in the midst of all that, I will have to say, and I don't mean to sound braggadocious or like I'm killing it or anything like that. It's not that I've been killing it, believe me. It's not that. It's just that I've realized that even though with a pandemic, even though with things being closed out to normal people out there, you know, even though with all that stuff, I've seen favor in my side. I've seen doors opening for me, opportunities, if you will. I've seen, you know, a lot of things open up for me. Things that, like, before was impossible. It's very hard for me to say it. Things that seemed so goddamn difficult before. And it's all coming to fruition due to me rediscovering my faith. Now, I know some of you who are listening are like, oh shit, here we go. The boy done converted again. Here we go, we're going to get the God thing. We're going to get God up the yin yang now. Oh God, here we go. Not exactly. Not exactly. As you've heard now already in the podcast, I've already given a few slurs, so not fully purified yet, so don't worry about that department. But let's just say I'm seeing God with new goggles. I'm seeing God like devoid from a religious perspective. I've said it in previous podcasts before that I'm listening to the biblical analysis by Jordan Peterson. In just listening to a few of them and listening to his dissertations, it has changed my perspective in a lot of things. And mind you, he's not a 100% believer in God. Not in the traditional sense. I mean, he for sure holds dear the values in which, the Judeo-Christian institutions have been founded on. And he does give tremendous value to the written word, and aka the Bible. But in terms of actually going there and saying that there is a person or a being called God, and that there is salvation, actual salvation in Jesus Christ, he doesn't go fully there. He just highlights the value of the text in terms of whether these stories are real or not. It really doesn't matter. What matters is the story that is being told, and the story itself is powerful enough for you to find a conclusion that there is something higher than you, and that you have to aim to that higher power in order to live a more fulfilling life, to live a life out of chaos. And that's what the point that he's trying to hit home is, that, you know, a godless life, mind you, is like chaos, and you're living in hell, in literal hell, according to what he was explaining. And I'm paraphrasing, of course. I'm not saying everything verbatim. I'm saying it as I understood it. If I am misunderstanding it, then please feel free to correct me. But nonetheless, Dr. Jordan Peterson, his dissertations have made me, realize certain things about my faith, that I looked at it as a plain religious goggles, with just religious goggles, seeing it through religious eyes. And it's a complicated issue for me, because I was raised Catholic, like 90% of Latin raised family households were. Most families are Catholic, just by birthright, I guess. And from my mother's side specifically, we were very Catholic. My godfather is a priest, for God's sake, a Catholic priest. My mom was very Catholic to the point that the bishop of the city officiated her funeral. So she was very Catholic, and but by 1992, I switched, unbeknownst to me, in a sense, to a more evangelical church, to the House of Churches of God side of the evangelical church, which were Pentecostals here in Dominican Republic. I don't know how that thing works in the States. And I did so because I saw the conversion of my dad, and I've been given details in the previous podcast, so I'll spare the details. So I just give a brief introduction to how my dad lived. Very hardcore life in the street, and then he saw the light. He saw Jesus, and not literally, figuratively speaking, and he changed his life, started drinking, womanizing, and all that stuff, and became a guy in the straight and narrow. And when I saw that change, because I had to be a witness to that change in his life, because I was one of the ones who had to carry him to his bedroom when he was drunk. So from seeing my father coming totally shit-faced to coming sober, changing his music to Christian music, and having a total change in his attitude, you kind of see God there. But then the religious war started in my household, because mom hardcore Catholic, dad hardcore evangelical, and the shit hit the fan from the get-go. I mean, they weren't simpatico before. Once you added the religion stuff, that's when the shit really hit the fan. And I was caught in the crossfires in the middle, because I'm the one that's going to church with him. So going through all of that, and then the various iterations of evangelical that I've been through, I've been, just because I've already given enough of a long ass winded introduction in that world. I've been, let's see, a Pentecostal, Methodist, non-denominational, and to whatever the hell I am now. I don't know what to even describe it. Let's just say been there, done that, have the t-shirts to prove it. Literally. So I've explored every branch that I'm comfortable with Christianity, to say the least. Every branch that I'm comfortable with, and this year has taught me a lesson in terms of, God is not that focused on whatever branch of religion I am, or whatever branch of Christianity that I think I am. He's more concentrated, and he gives more of a damn about me, the person living inside this husk of flesh and bones and fat, in my case, and beard, lots and lots of hair. And he gives a shit about more of that. And this year has shown me a dramatic approach from God's end. Not that he has manifested himself, he, she, it, you want to call it. I mean, God doesn't use pronouns. We call him him. He doesn't actually have pronouns. It's just, how do you categorize himself? I am. So I am, not me, him, or it, God. We're getting confused now. God manifested himself in my life just by showing me grace this year. And the grace is that, opening stuff that I thought that wasn't going to happen. And in the middle of all of that, certain changes started happening in me. I've been resisting, like, actively resisting more participation in church because I don't think that I am the poster boy or the poster child to be ministering. I already did that, and it failed miserably. I serviced in the previous church I was before, and I served as a church elder and as a deacon. And to say that I failed miserably is an understatement. I fucked up royally in that position, not because I, fell and did things. It's just that I knew that my heart wasn't in it. I knew that, the appearance, and it was that was the point. It was just more appearance than anything. So this year, in the middle of all of this, I felt like God is touching me. And I know some of you are looking at this and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why should I give a shit about what you're talking about? Why is this important? Get back to talking shit that is funny. No, this is the point when I'm like, this whole dissertation, this whole thing that I'm talking about is basically that from now on, this podcast is going to be whatever the hell I want to say. I recognize that this is my channel. This is my end of saying shit or expressing myself, and I'm gonna do what I feel is right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm gonna do things my way now. I'm not gonna try to be Joe Rogan. I'm not gonna try to be anybody else. I'm gonna be me, and this is me. These are the things that I give a shit about. I don't give a shit about The Mandalorian. I don't give a shit about Star Wars. I don't give a shit even sports, although I'm wearing this jersey and I've already mentioned it twice. It's just that, it's weird for people looking at me with a football jersey. I don't even follow football. But yeah, this is, Philadelphia Eagles jersey. I'm not an Eagles fan. I have no teams in the NFL. I barely know some stuff about the NFL. I'm Dominican. We concentrate mostly on baseball and basketball. After that, another sports attached to it, that's by the grace of God. But I digress. I don't give a shit about none of that stuff, and I don't want to be doing reviews because guess what? There's a billion reviews for nerdy shit out there that you can watch, and I don't need to fulfill my opinion about something that's already been done with. By the way, who gives a shit what happens? Because people are gonna shit on it anyway. They're gonna be saying their shit anyway. For example, the Star Wars fans, Jesus Christ, you people are the worst. You are simply the worst. How the hell can you guys I don't know. I mean, just let that thing be. Let those people handle it. I mean, I just got Disney Plus. Again, I live in DR. It's been available just a few days here at Disney Plus, so I just started watching The Mandalorian now. Oh, you're so late in the game. Fuck you. I don't give a shit. I'll watch it in my own leisure. That's the whole point of it, having on demand, that you watch it whenever you want to watch it. Since now I got it, now I start watching. I've seen 2 episodes of the first season, so I'll catch up eventually. So, and I don't give a shit about spoilers either, so I already know about the whole things that have happened on season 2 so far. So save your shit. That's another thing. I mean, geek culture has become the bane of my existence, and this partially goes to the reason why I, left, or not left, but I stayed away from the identity of a Christian, is because this has happened with every single fucking thing. I mean, right now in the States, being a Christian, you can either be called a Christian and that's either good on one side or very, very bad on another, depending on the crowd of people you're standing with. Because, god damn, I have not heard so many people bitch about, oh, we're losing our rights. Let me get this straight. So, people are watching you whenever you want to go out and pray or read your Bible. I don't get it. You can be whatever the heck you want to be. And in the States, I know the woke culture has taken over everything. It's shit. It is bullshit. I hate woke culture. Woke culture, not walk culture. That's a YouTube channel, and they're okay. Although when they lost the guys that went to, forget about it. That's a whole another can of worms. Anyway, the thing is that once we get into fanaticism or fanatics, and that goes with everything. I mean, metal, comic books, Star Wars. Star Wars is right around the worst fan base I've ever seen in terms of eating their own. But then you gotta go and stop and look in awe how Christianity does it. I mean, we bitch about everything. Everything is sin. Everything is evil. Everything is wrong. And then when we find some of our own that fucked up, in some cases, rightfully so, we call them out. And some other cases, is like, no, let's destroy this motherfucker, and hopefully he'll never rise. He or she will never rise from the ground again. And seeing all the destructiveness that I've seen in Christianity, in comic books, you have to understand, I'm a geek. It's like, you're watching this video right now, you understand, like right there behind me, I'm pointing it right now in the video. You can see the evidence of geekiness all around. I'm a geek, but I'm also a Christian, but I'm also a metalhead. It's like I have the weirdest combos ever, and I don't want to apologize for it. It's just what I like. It's what I like, what I enjoy. It's why I'm letting my hair grow. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't give a fuck anymore. I just want to be me, doing the things that I like, that I enjoy, without, suffering the scorn of public opinion. And not that I give a shit about what people think. I'm saying it clearly and openly now. It's just that I have an issue at how the world is reacting to each other just for liking or disliking their shit. And a good bit of the problem is this little fucking device here, this little motherfucker here, called smartphones. And with these little thingies here, you ruin lives by texting shit or writing shit on your Twitter or your Instagram or your Facebook, whatever the fuck, and you bury people with this shit. And people that you barely know, people that you don't know, people who, just because they said something that goes against what you think is right, you bury them and you burn them just for shits and giggles because you think you're being cool, because you think, oh, what a nice comeback. Like, we have unlearned how to be civil to each other. You can be yourself. You can have an opinion. You can have your thoughts. You can be yourself, and without being a dick, without being an asshole. And that's what I'm trying to see if this world that we live in now understands. We've had a 2020 that has been difficult on everyone. It has been so fucking difficult. It's been so hard. All of us have eaten shit, eaten dick, eating things that we don't want to eat. Let's just keep it simple and plain like that. And yet, here we are. We've survived so far. A lot of good people have died this year. A lot of interesting people, like Chadwick Boseman still hurts. Eddie Van Halen still hurts. He probably wasn't a saint, but god damn it, he brought some fun to this world. And we still find people that are being dicks to each other after all the shit that we went through. I mean, the elections in the United States are done. Thank God it didn't go to a civil war. Believe me, there was a lot of people, me included, that feared the worst. Right now, I live in DR, and it's not that it's all, picket fences and sunshine and rainbows. I mean, daily they're robbing people right in front of my fucking apartment. They're jacking people right in front of my fucking apartment. So it's not like it's nice around here. But that being said, there's a thing that I'd rather deal with the shit that is happening here in DR than to go in the States where you're being crucified per second just for whatever you post in this thing. Just for whatever you post on your phone. If you say something that goes against the grain, goes against the establishment of certain groups, then you're going to get burned just because you have an opinion and you want to express it here. I am expressing myself on this YouTube podcast, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And I already made up my mind. I kind of already was doing it, but I'm going to do it now more fiercely. I'm going to talk about what interests me at the moment. And that's going to be whatever the fuck. If I want to bring like a Bible study, I'll do it. If you don't like it, you don't have to like it. If I want to talk about, I don't know, the many versions of Spider-Man, I'll fucking talk about that. If I want to talk about my lack of understanding of American football, even though I'm wearing a fucking jersey, and by the way, of a legend, Reggie White, this is an original, old school Philadelphia Eagles jersey of Reggie White, and I want to talk about football, although I don't understand that, then I'll talk about it, but you can grill my ass later for all the inaccuracies and bullshit that I talked about. The thing is, we have to learn to be civil with each other, and you can call out people's bullshit without being an asshole. And Christianity has bothered me for the longest time, for like 5 years, of how douchey and asshole they are. And that made me lose my faith in some ways. But then I remembered that my faith is not in fellow Christians, because guess what? We're going to fuck up. We're human beings, and hell, I'm fucking up, and I call myself a Christian. And look at all the curses I already said in this podcast. So if you're looking at me as an example of like, oh, I want to see a good Christian, look elsewhere, not here, not this guy. This guy is going to fuck up the moment you put your trust in me. I do not put your trust in me. Do not put your trust on any preacher. That was another fuck up that I did. I listened to a lot of televangelists. Oh God, those dark days. And again, if some of them are faithful and actually believe what they're doing and not bullshitting people or not intentionally bullshitting, it must be like 1 out of 100, probably. God bless. Okay, fine. But I find the majority of them being full of shit. Because it's more about the show, it's more about the spectacle, it's more about how many fucking projectors, how many shit, and how many offerings they can receive. So, and I'm not mentioning names, whoever may apply. If you're not one of those that does apply to, and you are an evangelist that happens to be on TV, so be it. Okay, whatever the fuck. But I'm talking about the group that is doing it for the money, and there is a group doing it for the money. And if you are one of those, fuck you. Hope you find the light and repent of your ways and stop doing that shit. The same goes with everything. I mean, what's the point of being a pretentious asshole on Twitter or on Instagram or on Facebook just to show like, oh, my knowledge about this issue is bigger than yours? There's no group that does this worse than comic book geeks. It's like, and that's been forever. That's not something new on the internet. If you were following the magazines back in the day, if you're an old school geek like me, you know about Wizard magazine. And I gotta tell you that before the age of the internet, the age of social media, because the internet already existed by then when Wizard magazine was out, the age, the time that Wizard came out, you could see the pretentiousness and bullshit in terms of the knowledge of certain fans, in terms of when you read their mail, like, oh, like their knowledge is like, whatever happened to enjoying something just because? You don't have to become a sage in a subject in order to like it and understand it. Like, for example, I got a guitar there. You can see it right there behind me. I can't play lick. I can't play dick. I can play some chords, but I'm not a great guitarist. That means that you have to discard me as a actual metalhead just because I can't play the guitar? No. Like, I bought that instrument because I wanted to learn, and I'm still kind of learning. I'm right now more inclined into the bass playing than guitar playing, but the point is that, you follow things and you buy things because you enjoy it, not because you have to have it in order to augment your geek cred or find out that you're this or that. just enjoy things, enjoy them. Not because there's some peer pressure from a certain group that you have to do this because. Enjoy life. Enjoy the things that you like. Even if they're not what the great, as long as you're not hurting yourself or hurting others, enjoy life. Enjoy it. Because there's only one of it. There's only one life, and you don't get redos. There's no repeat. There's no infinite lives thingy here in this one. We only get one. And you don't know when it's the last day of your life. You don't know when it's the last day that you're going to be talking about here. So have that in mind. And just to let you know, this is going to be different from now on. This is not going to be your traditional shit as usual, business as usual shit. I'm going to do me. I'm going to do it differently. If that means I don't get any more followers, or I don't get any more listeners, and I don't get anybody else, then so be it. So be it. But the thing is, this is it. This is it. So I hope that y'all are well. I hope that this recording via video or audio gets to you well, and I wish you all the best. So from now on, just expect a different kind of me. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be open, I'm going to be sincere, and I'm going to talk shit how I see it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not infallible. I'm not a god. I'm not a god. And that's it. So this has been me, Ariel, and this has been the Husky Bible. And I hope that we'll continue to be doing these kind of things, and let's see where this goes. Okay, so again, thank you. Bye.